From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang in review. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday led the distribution of certificates of condonation with release of mortgage or COCROM to 3,500 agrarian reform beneficiaries or ARBs held at the Eduardo Cuanco Gymnasium in the town of Paniqui, Tarlac Province. According to Department of Agrarian Reform or DAR Secretary Conrado Estrella III, a total of 124 million pesos worth of farmer debt will be paid by the national government. A total of 4,663 COCROMs was distributed to the 3,500 ARBs. This covers over 4,132 of agricultural land in accordance to the provisions of Republic Act or RA 11953 or the New Agrarian Emancipation Act or NAEA. This is the third time the President distributed COCROMs in Central Luzon following the distribution in the provinces of Nueva Ecija and Bulacan. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Nagpapasalamat po ako sa inyong pagdalo dito sa ating pagtitipon sa kabila ng medyo masama na panahon. Hindi ako nagulat na nandito pa rin kayo dahil ganito naman talaga tayong mga Pilipino. Hindi basta-basta napapatinag, kailangan lang na magdoble ingat dahil sa ulan. Madulas ang kalsada, malakas ang hangin dulot ng bagyong Hulyan. Bagamat may bagyo, ako po ay masaya sa araw na ito sapagkat kasama natin ang mga nagpapaunlad sa sektor ng agrikultura sa ating bansa, ang ating mga magsasaka at agrarian reform beneficiaries. Tanggapin po ninyo ang aming pasasalamat sa mahalagang papel na ginagampanan ninyo araw-araw para masiguro na ang bawat Pilipino ay may sapat na pagkain. Alam namin na bago ninyo maani ang inyong mga pananim, kinakailangan ninyo ng lupang matataniman. Noong pagkaloob na sa inyo ang mga lupang sakahan sa ilalim ng reformang pang-agraryo, ang naging pangamba ninyo naman ay ang pambayad sa lupang ipinagkakaloob. Kaya ngayong araw, sa bisa ng Republic Act 11953 o ang tinatawag na New Agrarian Reform Emancipation Act na nilagdaan ng inyong abang lingkod noong nakarang taon, burado na po ang inyong pagkakautang. Narito po kami ngayon kasama ang mga opisyal mula sa Department of Agrarian Reform at mga iba't ibang mga opisyal, mga Register of Deeds, pati yung Land Bank ay kasama dito sa programang ito. At nandito po kami upang ipagkaloob ang mga Certificate of Condonation and Release of Mortgage o tinatawag natin na COCROM. Sinasagot at inaalis na ng gobyerno ang malaking pasanin na dala ng mga utang na naging kakambal ng inyong mga lupang sakahan. Ang inyong mga amortisasyon, interest at iba pang surcharge, lahat po burado na. Para po sa mga taga-Tarlac, higit sa 4,600 COCROM ang ipapamahagi natin sa 3,500 na agrarian reform beneficiary. Ito ay katumbas ng higit sa 124 ng bilyong pisong halaga na amortisasyon na buburahin na natin. Katulad po ni Ginoong Mario Velasco na mula sa Bantog, Karikutan, Lapas at isa sa mga benepisyaryo ng programang ito. Ayon po sa kanya, siya po ay ilang dekada nang nagsasaka, nadala ang hamon ng araw-araw na pangangailangan at ang mga iba't ibang gastusin. Sa haba rin ng panahon na siya ay nagtatanim, ang pinakamabigat na pasanin ay ang utang na tila ay tanikala sa lupang sinasaka. Sa pamamagitan po ng programang ito, hindi na kailangan pang alalahanin ang amortisasyon. Ang pera na nakalaan sana rito ay maaari na ninyong pong gamitin sa pang-araw-araw at ibang pangangailangan sa inyong pagsasaka. Wala na po kayong alalahanin. Maging ang mga susunod pang magmamana ng lupang inyong sinasaka. Ngayon po ay may panibagong pagkakataon na kayo upang maunlad ang inyong mga kabuhayan at ang inyong mga pamilya. Naunawaan po ng pamahalaan ang karanasan ni Mario at ng iba pa nating mga magsasaka, kaya batid ng pamahalaan ang halaga ng programang ito upang mabawasan ang gastusin at lalong makatulong pa sa ating mga agrarian reform beneficiaries. At sa amin din naman, ni Secretary Conrad Estrella, hindi po ito ordinaryong programa ng pamahalaan. Sa katunayan po, ito po ay sinimulan ng aking ama, si former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr., at ang lolo naman ni Secretary Estrella na si Secretary Conrado F. Estrella Sr. Kaya naman, nung ako ay binigyan ninyo ng pagkakataon na maging Pangulo, hindi ako nagdadalawang isip. Tinawag ko kaagad si Secretary Conrad. Unang-una, linagay ko siya kaagad bilang Agrarian Reform Secretary. Dahil alam ko, kabisado niya, alam niya yung trabaho na yan. Dahil bata pa kami, wala pa kaming hawak na posisyon, ay pinag-uusapan na niya, pinag-aaralan na niya dahil nga sa lolo niya, ang lolo niya nagpalaki sa kanya. Ay ganun din sa akin. Kaya kaagad, tinawag ko siya at sinabi ko, ituloy na natin ang nasimula ng ating mga ninuno. Para po sa inyo, ang araw na ito, para po sa inyo, mga minamahal naming benepisyaryong magsasaka. May isa lamang akong hiling sa inyo. Kaakibat ng mga biyayang ito ay ang responsibilidad na pagyamanin pa ang ating mga lupa. Hindi lamang sa ikauunlad ninyo, kung hindi para sa buong Pilipinas. Hindi dito po magtatapos ang ating pagsusubok. Ngunit ang araw na ito ay magsisilbi sana ng paalala na ang pamahalaan ay handang tumulong sa inyo. Nandito kami at patuloy na nakikinig sa inyong mga pangangailangan upang magkaroon kayo ng mas maginhawa at mas matatag na kinabukasan. Higit pa nating pagtutulungan ang pagunlad ng sektor ng agrikultura dahil malaki ang paniniwala kung mas marami pa tayong kaya at dapat gawin. Muli, mag-iingat po tayong lahat. Ating pong ipatuloy ang binabantayan na bagyong Hulyan at handang magbigay ang pamahalaan ng tulong sa ating mga kababayang nangangailangan.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday said the country is now ready to be the go-to destination of high-tech and high-impact investments. The President made the pronouncement during the inauguration of the St. Battalion or STB Gigafactory, the country's first manufacturing plant for lithium, iron, phosphate batteries in a ceremonial switch on at the Philinvest Innovation Park at the New Clark City in Capas, Tarlac Province. Funded by the Australian investment firm St. Baker Energy, the project was part of the commitments President Marcos secured during his trip to Melbourne in March this year for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN-Australia Special Summit. In his speech, the chief executive hailed the project for turning into fruition in record time, adding that it will position the Philippines as a regional leader in clean storage and renewable energy. STB Gigafactory will open up about 2,500 direct and indirect jobs in the field of engineering, technical, finance, and administrative personnel for Filipinos once it reach its full production capacity by 2030. By 2030. STB Giga is the first locator at the Philinvest Innovation Park within the 9,450-hectare New Clark City managed by the Bases Conversion and Development Authority, or BCDA. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
If you will notice, you will not, I have this silly grin on my face, and that is because this is really a very, very exciting day for us. And we have worked very hard and tried to do our best to bring this kind of technology to the Philippines with a clear recognition that this is the future. And today we see that. The future, we take a big step into the future. So now we are, as you say, entering a new age where the battery technology has taken, is front and center in all that we are trying to do. When the term lithium iron phosphate came up, well, we thought this is another complicated technology. And perhaps it belongs in very sophisticated operations such as space travel and the like. However, that now is completely different because we have that technology now here in the Philippines. And this promises to be a first step in all that we are hoping to do, not only to help not only to help and create jobs for Filipinos, not only to bring a transfer of technology to the Philippines, but also because we now are able to do a very solid and serious step in mitigating and adapting to climate change. This is something perhaps that we would hear, perhaps when we first heard this is something that just a scientist would be using. These are terms that only scientists would be using, but no longer. Because we are now in the middle of a technological storm. We may not be launching rockets just yet, but despite the weather's best attempts, we are stepping boldly into the future. A future that is sustainable, innovative, and transformative. This inauguration of the St. B. Giga factory is a remarkable example of what happens when our national agenda of promoting clean energy intersects with a solid commitment from the private sector. Your Excellency, Ambassador, you hit the nail on the head there. This is the best example that we can show, not only because we have finally brought it to fruition, but we brought it to fruition in what I consider to be record time. In fact, this development is among the pledges that we received during the Philippine Business Forum in Australia, Melbourne, last March, in Canberra. 6 months later, we are witnessing how this pledge has come into reality. I cannot overstate the importance of this investment, hence the silly grin on my face. It sends this message to the world. The Philippines is now ready to innovate, to lead, to become the go-to destination for high-tech, high-impact investments. As the first manufacturing plant in the Philippines for advanced iron phosphate batteries, often used in renewable energy and electrical vehicles, the St. B. Gigafactory sets the stage for the Philippines to become a player in clean storage and in clean energy storage in our part of the world, in Southeast Asia, in our region. Looking towards the future, When this factory reaches full capacity, it's expected to channel 5 billion pesos into the economy annually. It will create 2,500 jobs for Filipinos. And these are not just regular jobs. These are very important high-tech jobs, which is where these are the quality jobs that we would like to bring to our countrymen. So from engineers and technicians to administrative personnel, it is about nurturing homegrown talent and offering opportunities that match the ambitions right here on our own soil. When St. B Giga hits full capacity by 2030, it will be producing 2 gigawatt hours of batteries annually. This is the equivalent to around 18,000 electric vehicles, almost 500,000 home battery systems. This facility runs in tandem with the Philippines' renewable energy landscape as we transition our country to renewable energy. Your products could help entice more investors in renewable energy facilities in the country. The upstream and the downstream businesses that will come from this are just going to be tremendous. We also welcome St. B Giga's plan to enter the EV product market in the coming years. This certainly aligns with our plans to develop the country's EV industry and produce locally made EVs and EV components, reducing our reliance on imported fuel. To promote local engineering talent, and this is another very exciting aspect to what we have opened here today, St. B Giga also has committed to set up partnerships with Philippine academic and industry institutions. We hear very much in this day and age about the transition into the digital space, the transition into high-tech industries. And the key to the success of that transition is, the buzzwords now are reskilling and upskilling. And that is why we hold very much important to the training that will be received by our by local Filipinos, and who will be able to take that new skills, the new knowledge, and bring it to operations such as this. With renewable energy sources, and while they were once, and EVs were once seen as just options, they must now be our path forward to adapt and to mitigate the effects of climate change. Every step that we make towards sustainable energy development is an investment in a brighter, healthier future for our children, for our country. To the entire team behind the St. B Giga factory, thank you for taking this leap of faith with us. You have established a foundation for a cleaner, greener, and more prosperous Bagong Pilipinas. And to the rest of us, I will say, don't blink. Change is happening faster than you think, even when faced with challenges like Typhoon Julian. While we are here discussing innovation, the government is working behind the scenes. Thousands of family food packs are now being prepared. Healthcare centers are on high alert, and our farmers and fisherfolk are taking steps to safeguard their livelihoods. The Typhoon Julian is going to pass north of the Philippines, so those in regions 1, 2, and 3, as well as NCR and CAR, know that we are not just talking about resilience. We are making it happen. So if you are an entrepreneur, a startup, an industry leader wondering where to place your next big bet, look no further. We have the talent, certainly the determination, and now the infrastructure to make your boldest ideas a reality, even if the weather tries to say otherwise. Let us remember why we are doing this. Beyond the figures and the projections and the technology, it comes down to our shared responsibility to our environment and to the next generation. Once again, congratulations to everyone who has been involved, both in the private sector and in the public sector, in making this a reality. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, at sama-sama nating isulong ang isang mas matatag na bagong Pilipinas.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday said The Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas or Alliance for a New Philippines still supports the senatorial bid of re-electionist Senator Amy Marcos despite her withdrawal from the administration's slate. Senator Amy was included in the 12-person senatorial lineup of the Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas coalition, which the president unveiled on Thursday. A day after, however, Amy announced she would not join the administration's ticket. In an ambush interview in Capas, Tarlac Province, the chief executive said Amy's choice would give her more freedom to make her own schedule to campaign. President Marcos said they continue to support her sister's re-election bid and she is still very welcome to join them in their campaign sorties. The Alianza para sa Bagong Pilipinas is composed of the President's Partido Federal ng Filipinas or PFP, Lakas Christian Muslim Democrats or Lakas CMD, Nationalist People's Coalition or NPC, and Nacionalista Party or NP. Filing of Certificate of Candidacy for the May 2025 election starts on October 1st and will run until October 8th.
That's fine. That happens. I've run as an independent myself many times, and so that is her choice. I suppose it gives her a little bit more scope and freedom to make her own schedule and to campaign in the way that she would like to do. But the Alianza is still behind her. We are still continuing to support her, and if down the road she chooses to join us in our campaign sorties, she is of course very welcome.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other Malacañang news, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Tuesday urged the Department of Energy or DOE to inform concerned agencies about pending energy projects in an effort to expedite the processing of permits. In a sectoral meeting at Malacañang Palace in Manila, the President said the DOE's impending endorsement of energy projects would enable agencies involved in the issuance of permits and clearances to process the required documents ahead of the implementation phase. The chief executive met with the DOE to get an update on the streamlining of energy project applications. During the meeting, DOE Secretary Rafael Lutilla said the agency would consider President Marcos's proposal. The government is addressing several issues faced by investors in the energy sector, particularly the numerous permits and clearances required by government agencies, as well as the long process to secure the needed documents. President Marcos directed the DOE to continue speeding up the integration of all applications and permitting processes for energy projects in the Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop or EVOSS. In a news release, the Presidential Communications Office or PCO said the government targets the integration of all energy-related processes by June of 2028. The EVOSS was rolled out in July of 2020 to accept online energy-related applications. The PCO noted that as of September 27th, at least 56 out of 103 energy-related processes have been integrated into the EVOSS. The PCO said the DOE is conducting focus group discussions and consultations, orientations, briefings, and information education campaigns, and user testing and hands-on training to expedite the full operationalization of the EVOSS. The DOE is also coordinating with the Anti-Red Tape Authority or ARTA to address the issue. The EVOSS system is a web-based filing and monitoring system for energy-related applications and a repository of information and permits issued for energy projects. The system allows all agencies and entities involved in the approval of new energy-related projects to comply with the mandated timeframes in a unified and streamlined paperless process.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday signed the Value-Added Tax or VAT on Digital Services Law at the Ceremonial Hall in Malacañang Palace. Known as Republic Act or RA number 12023, the new law imposes a 12% VAT on non-resident digital service providers or DSPs to generate additional revenue for the government and to level the playing field for local providers. This law encompasses various services such as online search engines, online marketplaces, cloud services, online media and advertising, online platforms, and digital goods. Considered one of the priority measures of the Marcos administration, this law aims to address revenue losses due to ambiguities in existing legislation regarding the taxation of e-commerce transactions. It specifically targets foreign companies not based in the country that continue to provide services to Filipino consumers. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Thank you to our DICT Secretary, Secretary Ivan. Wait, please take your seats. Senate President Chis Escudero, and the members of the Senate, House Speaker Martin Romualdez, and the members of the House of Representatives, Finance Secretary, the beneficiary of all of this, of what we are doing today, the Finance Secretary, Secretary Ralph Recto, the other cabinet members present, Presidential Advisor for Legislative Affairs, Mark Leandro Mendoza, BIR Commissioner June Lumagi, other key development partners and stakeholders, my fellow workers in government, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. There is an old saying that there are only two things certain in life. They are taxes and death. It is now time to add perhaps one more item to that list, and that is change. The rapid change in our digital landscape has created a gap in our tax system. Today, we signed the Value-Added Tax and Digital Services Law, and we are now bridging that gap. With this law, we say that if your presence in the Philippine market is as real as your profits, then your tax responsibility should also be equally tangible. But make no mistake, we are not imposing new taxes. We are simply strengthening the authority and streamlining the process of the BIR to collect value-added tax on digital services. This includes digital media, digital music, digital video, video on demand, and digital advertising. Local businesses and international digital platforms now compete on equal terms. We no longer will be playing by different sets of rules. If you are reaping the rewards of a fruitful digital economy here, it is only right that you contribute also to its growth. After all, whether you are a small tech startup or a global tech giant based halfway around the world, if you are making money here in the Philippines, you are part of our community. And with that comes a shared responsibility. Be assured that the government has taken a deliberate and measured approach to ensure that this tax will not crush innovation or hinder growth. We have been precise about where this tax applies, sparing educational and public interest services from its coverage. Online courses, webinars, and other digital educational offerings are not subject to VAT in order to keep education affordable and accessible to all Filipinos. This law is more than ensuring tax compliance. It is also in support of nation building. For the next 5 years, we estimate to collect 105 billion pesos from this measure. This is enough to build 42,000 classrooms, more than 6,000 rural health units, 7,000 kilometers of farm-to-market roads. Additionally, 5% of the revenues generated by this law will be allocated to our creative industries. This means our artists, filmmakers, musicians, the very people who fill our platforms with stories and with content will directly benefit. It ensures that our creative talents are not just surviving in a competitive digital market, but will be allowed to prosper. Fairness, inclusivity, and progress. These are the goals of this law. Today is not just about the signing of the VAT on Digital Services Law. It is also the beginning of a more equitable journey forward. And this would not have been possible without our legislators. We thank you for the dedication that you showed in ensuring the timely approval of this law. To our partners in the digital space, let this be seen as an invitation to help build a bagong Pilipinas, where innovation flourishes, especially as we promote competition. To our local enterprises who have been pillars of our economy even in the face of changing landscapes, today we restore the balance and give you the fair shot that you deserve. To our people who deserve nothing less than a system that works for them, this law shall bring in much needed revenue to help build a better future for us all. I call for the support of all the companies and entrepreneurs who will be covered by this law. I also urge the concerned government agencies to promulgate the necessary rules and implement the needed steps to operationalize this law within the period that is prescribed within the Act. So as we usher in this change, let us be reminded, true progress does not just count profit, it counts everyone in. So thank you all very much, and may we continue building a stronger and fairer bagong Pilipinas. Maraming salamat at magandang umaga sa inyo.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, the Philippine government is not expecting foreign digital service providers or DSPs to implement a significant increase in the prices of their services and goods following the enactment of a measure imposing value-added tax or VAT on non-resident DSPs. This after President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Wednesday signed Republic Act or RA 12023 into law, which imposes a 12% VAT on electronic or online sale of services such as online advertisement services and provision for digital advertising space, digital services in exchange for a regular subscription fee, and supply of other electronic and online services that can be delivered through the Internet. In a Palace press briefing, Bureau of Internal Revenue or BIR Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr. said, while a change in the prices of service and goods depends on the DSPs and is not always assured, any increase due to the VAT imposition would be minimal. Lumagi said the new law would level the playing field for local providers who are already subjected to VAT, unlike their foreign counterparts. He also said the collected taxes will be directed toward the government's infrastructure and social welfare services programs. Around 105 billion pesos in revenues is expected to be collected in 5 years due to the new law.
Today marks a significant milestone for the Philippines as we witness the signing of the value-added tax on digital services into law. This is not a new tax, just to clarify, but a crucial step in ensuring fairness and competition in our rapidly evolving digital economy. For too long, local digital service providers have carried on and carried the tax burden of VAT, while foreign DSPs, or digital service providers, though profiting from our consumers, have not. This new law corrects that imbalance by subjecting all digital service providers, both local and foreign, to the same 12% value-added tax. This law strengthens the Bureau of Internal Revenue's authority to collect value-added tax on digital transactions and clarifies how the DSPs can comply with the VAT requirements imposed under the National Internal Revenue Code. This is a welcome support for the Bureau's efforts to collect what is due to the government. Digital service providers render services subject to value-added tax during their trade or business, much like their counterparts in the brick-and-mortar establishments. This law promotes for competition, ensuring that both local and foreign DSPs compete on equal footing. And in doing so, we create a more competitive marketplace where consumers will ultimately benefit from improved services and fairer pricing. Additionally, the new law is projected to contribute an estimated more than 100 billion in government revenues from 2025 to 2029, funds that will go directly toward nation-building efforts. We also want to emphasize the VAT exemption for educational services, a testament to the government's commitment to accessible and affordable education. Furthermore, the BIR is empowered with new tools to ensure compliance, including the authority to block digital services of non-compliant DSPs through online Candado program. This landmark legislation, of course, supported by our President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the Senate and the House of Representatives, is a step forward in strengthening our tax system and aligning with international standards like the OECD's VAT Digital Toolkit for Asia Pacific. The BIR fully supports this law and will work tirelessly to implement it, ensuring a fair, competitive business environment that benefits consumers and drive national progress.
Bureau of Internal Revenue Commissioner Romeo Lumagi Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news, the Philippines Department of Migrant Workers, or DMW, on Wednesday said the national government is arranging chartered flights for the repatriation of more than 200 overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, in Beirut, Lebanon. In a palace press briefing, DMW Undersecretary Bernard Olalia said they are talking to airline companies so that the chartered flights would be able to accommodate OFWs from Beirut. This was after the scheduled flights of around 15 OFWs on September 25th were canceled because of the recent bombings in Beirut. Olalia said around 101 OFWs are staying in 4 temporary shelters in Beirut and waiting for their repatriation. The DMW Undersecretary, however, said the Philippine government is facing several challenges, including securing landing rights for chartered flights. He said land and sea routes are being considered in case the situation escalates and makes it impossible to take the air route. Olalia said the DMW, the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA, and other concerned agencies will adopt a whole of government assistance upon the directive of President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. Undersecretary Olalia said each repatriated OFW will get 150,000 pesos in financial assistance from the DMW and OWA, as well as psychosocial services.
The main responsibility and task, of course, of the Department of Migrant Workers is to ensure the safety of all Filipino workers in Lebanon, per instruction and guidance by no less than our President. And in line with this responsibility, the DMW and the OWA, as an attached agency, continues to coordinate with DFA in ensuring the safety of all workers, Filipinos in Lebanon. In particular, we have a very active MWO, or a Migrant Workers Office in Beirut, Lebanon. It's headed by a labor attaché and 6 other staffs. And we will augment this MWO staffs by sending a veteran labor attaché. In fact, he is already on his way to Beirut, Lebanon. Labat Adam Musa, a veteran labor attaché who have held positions in the past with experience in providing assistance to overseas Filipino workers. Our MWOs in the Middle East are also on standby mode, and they are willing to provide augmentation team also to MWO Beirut in case the situation worsens. We have one shelter in the MWO of Beirut, and in addition to that one shelter, our labor attaché secured 3 additional shelters in case Filipino overseas there would be willing to signify for the voluntary repatriation. There are presently 101 Filipino workers in our shelters ready to be repatriated. The challenge is that we do not have flights. No? The supposed September 25 flight, which will facilitate the repatriation of 15 of our OFWs, did not push through because the flights were canceled due to the conflict. And as a consequence, we are trying to provide for chartered flights. No, we're talking to some airline companies so that the chartered flights will be able to accommodate, for example, no less than 300 overseas Filipino workers from Beirut. The other challenge there is to secure, of course, the landing rights of our chartered flight, no, care of the office of MWO in coordination with the Lebanese government. The other challenge is the exit permits of some of our workers. Apart from documented OFWs, we have undocumented OFWs who need to secure travel documents. And once they were given travel documents, we will help them in securing also exit visas or exit permits from the immigration of the Lebanese government. The DMW is also studying the possibility of other routes. Apart from air route, we will be assessing the sea and the land route should the case or the situation there worsens. So all in all, we are ready to assist our OFWs there. Around 63 is ready for repatriation, awaiting for flights. And per instruction of the President, we will be adopting a whole of government assistance. We will provide for all forms of assistance coming from both the DMW and OWA, together with the other agencies that will be on board, like DFA, DOH, and of course TESDA. Each worker will receive no less than 150,000 financial aid coming from the DMW and OWA funds.
Department of Migrant Workers Undersecretary Bernard Olalia.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and First Lady Luis Araneta Marcos on Thursday brought the Libreng Laboratorio, Konsulta at Gamot para sa Lahat, or Lab for All, free medical and other services caravan at the Rizal High School in the city of Pasig. An initiative of the First Lady, the Lab for All Caravan is a flagship outreach program that offers an array of services such as free consultation, free medicines, and basic laboratory tests done in the Bagong Pilipinas mobile clinics. The caravan has visited 29 locations nationwide since May of last year. During the program, the President and the First Lady visited the ongoing Lab for All services at the Rizal High School and led the turnover of 3 Lab for All mobile laboratories to the municipality of Santa Calina in Ilocos Sur Province Tacloban City Government and Pasig City Government. The national government procured Bagong Pilipinas mobile clinics for deployment in every province and city in the National Capital Region or NCR, also known as Metro Manila. As of date, all 83 provinces have been provided with the said mobile clinics. These complement the capacity of existing health facilities and can reach more patients in remote and underserved areas. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Ang talagang kailangan nating batiin dahil po itong Love for All na proyekto na ito na programa, hindi na proyekto dahil ang dami pinagkakalat dito sa buong Pilipinas. Itong programa na ito ay ang First Lady Lisa Marcos. Ang mga LGU na magiging benepisyaryo nitong Love for All program na ating bibigyan at magbabahagi ng ilang mga equipment at tuloy din kasama rin ang mga serbisyo ng ating mga ahensya, kapwa ko na manggagawa sa pamahalaan, ating mga kababayan. Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Natutuwa naman po ako at sa wakas ay nakasama ko na sa Love for All ang aking First Lady. Dahil po, papapaliwanag po ako. Dahil po, naririnig ko lamang sa mga report sa akin ang tungkol sa napakagandang proyekto ng aking may bahay. Ngayon po ay saksi na ako sa serbisyong dinudulot nito. Ang kalusugan po ay kayamanan. Walang silbi ang lahat ng yaman kung hindi maayos ang ating kalusugan. Ngunit para sa mga kapuspalad nating kababayan, higit na mas malaking pagsubok ang pagkakasakit. Lalo na ang mga nasa malalayong lugar. Ayon po sa tala ng Department of Health, mayroon tayong higit na 7,000 tinatawag na geographically isolated and disadvantaged area. O tawag namin dyan ay yung mga gida. Ito po ang mga barangay o bayan na mahirap puntahan dahil malayo, nasa bundok, nasa isla, walang kalsada, na dapat ikakabit ng mga daanan at tulay. Sa mga lugar po na ito, isang malaking hamon ang pagpunta sa klinik o sa ospital o sa health center. Dahil napakalayo at napakalaking bagay. Dahil alam niyo po, ito ay naranasan ko nung ako'y governor ng Ilocos Norte. Nakikita ko, pag dumadating po ang mga pasyente, pupunta po dun sa provincial hospital, kahit na sa RHU, ay masyadong malala na yung kanilang sakit. Kako bakit hindi sila pumunta ng mas maaga? At ang kanila ay napakahirap. Dahil pagka ikaw, marami kang, may alaga kang bata, maghahanap ka na mag-aalaga. Kung nagtatrabaho ka, mag-off ka muna, magli-leave ka muna. Tapos, yung pamasahe. At lahat ito, isang buong araw, kuminsan 2-3 araw, napakalaking bagay. Kaya po, ang aming naiisip ay imbis na antayin natin ang mga nagkakaroon ng karamdaman na makapunta sa mga ospital, dadalhin po natin sa kanila ang serbisyo para meron silang healthcare kahit sa malalayo. Meron din yan. Yung mga kababayan natin na malapit nga sila sa ospital, isang pagsubok naman ang pambayad sa mga eksamen at sa laboratorio. Kaya lamang po, kwento ng isang estudyante na nakarating po sa amin. Ang kanyang ina ay na-diagnose na merong ovarian cancer. Sa pamamagitan ng programang ito, ay matitignan sila ng doktor ng libre at hindi na kinakailangan pang bumiyahe ng malayo. Dahil sila na ang pinupuntahan. Yung Love for All, sila na ang lumalapit. Bali yung clinic, imbis na sila pupunta sa clinic, yung clinic ang lumalapit po sa kanila. Kaya po, ang mga proyekto tulad nitong Love for All ay isang napakalaking tulong para sa ating mga kababayan. Layunin nito ang makapaghatid ng maaasahang serbisyo medikal para sa lahat, lalong-lalo na sa mga pinaka-nangangailangan tulad ng ating mga senior citizen, ang may PWD, mga buntis, at may mga iniindang karamdaman. Mula sa simula ng proyektong ito, Mayo ng nakaraang taon, nakarating na po ito sa 35 lokasyon mula sa Luzon, Visayas hanggang pong Mindanao. Hindi lamang ito ang nagbibigay ng tulong medikal. Kasama na rin dito ang ilang pong pampublikong serbisyo gaya ng CHED na handang umalalay sa mga naghahanap ng scholarship. Nandito rin po ang NHA at Pag-ibig na gagabay sa inyong mga pangangailangan tungkol sa pabahay. Ang LTO, nandyan din para sa mga nangangailangan ng driver's license, marami pang ahensya at marami pang iba't ibang ahensya para yung mga serbisyo ng gobyerno, hindi lamang ang serbisyong medikal, kung hindi, ang iba't ibang serbisyo ng ahensya ng gobyerno ay inilalapit natin sa taong bayan. Hindi lang itong isang araw lamang. Sinisiguro namin na marami pang mga komunidad sa bawat syudad at probinsya ang mabibisita ng Love for All. Kung saan merong Pilipinong nangangailangan, pagsusumikapan natin na inyong pamahalaan ay maaabutan ng serbisyong ito. Sa panig naman po ng administrasyon, sa pangunguna ng Department of Health, patuloy po tayo sa pagpapatupad ng mga proyekto upang magkaroon ng rural health unit, doktor, nurse, ambulansya, mobile health clinic, at iba pang mga kagamitan ang lahat ng lalawigan sa bansa, lalo na yung ating napag-usapan nga, yung mga gida. Para madaling maabot ang mga mamayan, ang mga serbisyong pangkalusugan, inilusad ng DOH ang bagong urgent care and ambulatory service centers o tawag namin bukas. Ito ay nagbibigay ng preventive, diagnostic, curative primary care service sa iba't ibang parte ng ating bansa. Mapupunan rin niyo po rito, kasama po natin si GM Mel Robles ng PCSO. Dahil po may programa din at siya pinapangako sa atin na mula ngayon, gagawin namin ang lahat, titiyakin namin na ang bawat bayan, bawat municipality, bawat LGU ay magkakaroon ng ambulansya. Hindi na po kagaya ng dati na makikiusap ka pa, lalapit ka pa kung kani-kanino, at kung medyo hindi kayo magkaibigan, baka hindi makalusot yung request ninyo. Ngayon, hindi na po ganoon. Basta't kung sino ang nangangailangan ng ambulansya, ay bibigyan na po natin. At sabi niya, mayaman itong PCSO, baka pwede pang gawin, bago po matapos ang termino ko, baka gawing 2 ambulansya ang bawat bayan at LGU. Nagtatayo rin po tayo ng specialty center sa bawat rehiyon ayon sa Republic Act No. 11959 o ang tinatawag na Regional Specialty Centers Act. Alam niyo po, nung pandemya, ito po yung natutunan natin. Dahil nakita natin ang mga pasyente dinadala sa mga specialty center dito lamang sa Maynila, sa Children's Center, sa Kidney Center, sa Heart Center, mga specialty center. Hindi naman talaga kaya, lalo na kung galing sa malayo. Kaya gumawa kami ng programa ng DOH at sabi natin, paano naman yung mga nasa malayo, yung malayo sa Maynila? O walang pambayad para makapunta sa Maynila, o kung naka-lockdown, kagaya ng pandemya. Kaya gumagawa kami ng programa at naglalagay tayo ng specialty center sa bawat lugar, bawat rehiyon, para naman hindi masyadong mahirap ang magpatingin yung mga may karamdaman. Kasabay po nito, nagpapamahagi rin tayo ng mga mobile primary care facility sa tulong ng mga lokal na pamahalaan. Layo naming bigyan lahat ng probinsya at syudad sa Metro Manila, yan na nga, yung mobile PCF. Gayunpaman, mas marami po tayong magagawa kung tayo ay sama-sama. Kaya nais ko ring ipahayag ang aking taus-pusong pasasalamat sa ating mga kaibigan at kaagapay mula sa pribadong sektor, gaya ng Metro Bank Foundation, ang Toyota Foundation. Maraming salamat sa tulong ninyo. Sila po ang namahagi at nag-donate ng 3 mobile van na may kumpletong pasilidad, kasama ang top-of-the-line X-ray at ultrasound machine, portable urine analyzer, glucose and cholesterol monitor, at ilang pang kagamitang medikal na ipapamahagi natin sa mga lokal na pamahalaan ng Pasig, Tacloban, Santa Catalina, sa Ilocos Sur ngayong araw na ito. Hindi din po magiging matagumpay ang Love for All sa ating mga kababayan kung wala ang suporta ng ating mga lokal na pamahalaan at higit sa lahat ng bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat, sa inyong pagkakaisa. Kaya po, hinihikayat ko kayong lahat, alagaan natin ang ating mga sarili. Samantalahin po natin ang mga proyektong tulad nito at ang mga serbisyo sa mga health center upang masubaybayan natin ang ating kalusugan. Tandaan po natin, ang pinakamatibay na yaman ay hindi ang laman ng ating bulsa, kundi ang tibay ng ating pangangatawan, ang sigla ng ating pag-iisip, ang pagiging malusog, ang ating puso. Bago rin po tayo matapos, gusto ko lang ulitin na kailangan natin pasalamatan ang ating First Lady sa kanyang ginagawa. Halatang-halata niyo po, hindi po politiko dahil hindi masyadong pinag-uusapan itong napakagandang programa na ito. Kung politiko ang nagpatakbo nito, siguro katakot-takot na publicity nang lumalabas, lalong-lalo na ngayon panahon ng eleksyon. Ngunit, ang First Lady po, hindi po yun ang iniisip. Iniisip lang niya kung paano makatulong at napakalaking tulong itong ginawa niyang project ng Love for All. Maraming salamat sa tulong mo rito sa pagsulong ng ating healthcare system. Napakapalad ko rin na napangasawa ko ay hangad din ang pagtulong sa kapwa at sa bansa. Talaga kayo, masyado kayong mga Pinoy masyadong romantic. Kaya po, ako ay nagpapasalamat sa lahat po ng na-involve. Dahil hindi po nangyayari ito kung hindi po nagsasama-sama. Ang approach po namin sa pamahalaan, sa serbisyo publiko, ay ang aming tinatawag na all of government, all of the nation. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng ahensya ng pamahalaan, pagka may proyekto, pagka may programa, kapag may maisip, may makita kami na kailangan gawin, hindi lamang ibinibigay sa isang departamento, hindi binibigay lamang sa isang ahensya. Kung hindi, isinasama po natin lahat ng mga departamento na makatulong. Yan po, that's why, kaya po yan ang tawag natin dyan. The all of government approach, ang aking tawag. Kaya nandito po, ang DLG Secretary, dahil po, lahat po ito, kahit na anong magandang aming naiisip sa national government, hindi po mangyayari ito, hindi po tayo nagkita-kita rito kung hindi tayo tinulungan ng ating LGU, ng ating mga local government position, pinanungunahan na ng ating butihing mayor. Kaya nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong lahat. Ipagpatuloy po natin ito. Nakita naman po ninyo kung gaano kaganda, ang gaano kalaki, kung gaano karami ang tulong na may bibigay natin kapag tayo-tayo ay laging magkapit-bisig at lagi nating iniisip ang kabutihan ng ating mga kababayan at ang ating minamahal na Pilipinas. Mabuhay ang sambayan ng Pilipino! Mabuhay po ang bagong Pilipinas!
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
As the Philippines celebrates National Teachers' Day, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Thursday rallied the Department of Education or DepEd and other concerned agencies to continue improving the quality of education in the country. Speaking at the Together for Teachers Appreciation, Admiration, Approval, Attention gathering at the Smart Araneta Coliseum in Quezon City, the President directed DepEd Secretary Sonny Angara to lead the education sector to greater heights and make it more adaptive to the needs of the evolving academic landscape. The chief executive also honored the sacrifices of teachers and their contribution to the country's development, which he said became more relevant during the recent pandemic. President Marcos vowed that his administration will continue to prioritize the welfare of teachers as he cited reforms the government has taken to uplift the morale of educators, including the increase in pay hike, additional chalk and medical, and the removal of their administrative works. The event served as the culminating activity for the celebration of National Teachers Month and is in line with Republic Act or RA 10743, which declares the 5th day of October each year as National Teachers Day. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Bagong lahat, simple lang pagbabati po. To our teachers in public and private schools, Happy Teachers Day. Babatiin ko rin ang First Lady. Dahil nga, bukod sa kanya pagiging abogado at may bahay, isa rin po siyang guro ng kursong abogasiya. Kaya naman, kaisa ninyo ang ating First Lady na nagdidiriwang ng okasyong ito. So pag nakikita ko siya, when I see her sitting there checking papers and preparing her lesson plan and preparing for her lectures, it also makes me think about my own time when I was in school. And when we look back on that, we think about the classmates we spent at our breaks with, the courses that we enjoyed and dreaded, and most importantly, the teachers who had recognized our potential before anybody else did. Lahat siguro ng kahit na sino na dumaan sa eskwela, may naaalala, isa, dalawa, tatlo na teacher na hindi nila makalimutan habang buhay. Ako meron akong ganyan, na na-inspire ka, na siyempre iniisip mo sa eskwela, gusto mo maglaro. Pero sasabihin sa'yo, hindi, tignan mo ito, may inspire ka. At pinaganda ang performance mo sa eskwela. Lahat tayo may ganun. From our first steps to the classroom, to our first leap of faith into the world. You teachers did not just impart the wisdom necessary for us to flourish, you have also instilled in us the values that guide us through life's challenges. Without your dedication, we would not have a future worth celebrating. As we mark the culmination of the National Teachers Month, we honor the tremendous efforts that teachers have made over the years. But we cannot ignore the difficult realities that teachers face. The constrained resources and the personal difficulties your students bring into the classroom are just few examples. Just last month, we met two teachers who have gone above and beyond the call of duty to improve the life of their students. Teacher Kyle David Atienza of Marinduque brings learning to life with his rolling blackboard, reaching both in-school and out-of-school learners through the outreach and free literacy sessions. Andyan din, Davao City, Teacher June Elias Patalinhug promotes innovation in the classroom. Through his project Kahig, he not only offers essential remediation, but also provides school supplies and nourishment to the children that are in need. Pag pinag-uusapan natin ang mga sakripisyo ng mga teacher, hindi natin makalimutan, kung maalala ninyo nung pandemya, nung lockdown, naabutan tayo ng graduation na nasa lockdown. At kaya kung lockdown, walang commencement exercise. Ngunit dahan-dahan nababalitaan natin yung mga teacher, dahil naawa naman sila sa kanilang mga graduate, pinupuntahan sa bawat bahay ng bawat graduate. Para naman yung bawat graduate, magpupustura, mag-aayos, may konting stage, may konting handa, may picture, binibigay yung diploma. Saan ka naman nakakita ng ganyan? Teacher lang gumagawa niyan. Ibang tao di ginagawa. Teacher lang gumagawa niyan. Tapos, bukod pa ron, tayo sa probinsya. Nung tumagal kami sa probinsya. Pagka may okasyon, pagka may piyesta, pagka may malaking birthday, pagka may VIP, may mga big shot na darating. Anong gagawin ni Mayor? Tatawag. Si Superintendent, tawag mo. Kailangan, yung mga teacher, maghanda tayo. Gagawa tayo ng dahil may bisita. Nakakikita mo yung mga teacher, yun, nakakanda sugat-sugat na yung mga daliri, kakatamtax dun sa tablecloth para para pagandahin, para naman pagandahin yung kakainan ng VIP, di ba? Tapos dun sa loob ng kusina, makita mo yung mga teacher, nako, tune-tuneladang pansit ang linuluto. Sabi, ba't ang daming pagkain? May bisita, nakakaya, baka maubusan. Wala na sa pag-teacher yun. Kaya I think I'm safe in saying that not only will the schools not work without teachers, the community will not function without you. Yung ganyang klaseng teacher, with everyone who are gathered here today, you are proof that no matter what the challenges our education system faces, we will prevail. Malakas ang loob natin dahil alam natin nandyan ang ating mga teacher. It's because of your passion, your innovation, unwavering dedication that I hold the firm belief that despite odds, we will push forward. In my recent SONA, I emphasized that supporting teachers is one of this administration's key priorities. We are committed to ensuring that you have ample resources to teach, whether by additional materials, reducing non-teaching reducing non-teaching responsibilities. So in line with that commitment, we have implemented several measures that will transform the lives of our 860,000 public school teachers. This year, I signed implementing rules and regulations for Executive Order number 174 to bring more opportunities for your career advancement and professional development. No public school teacher will be retiring as Teacher 1 anymore. We have also streamlined the career path for public school administrators to lay the groundwork for school leaders rising from the ranks of master teachers. With this flexibility to move between classroom teaching and school administration, you can grow professionally, explore new roles, and assume leadership positions. On the other hand, we signed the Kabalikat sa Pagtuturo Act, which allots a tax-free teaching allowance of 5,000 pesos this year for the purchase of supplies and materials for your teaching. This will increase to 10,000 pesos in the next school year. We do not, sa aming pananaw, ang tingin namin dito, hindi ito financial aid. Ito'y nakakasiguro. This makes sure and ensures that you have the tools that are necessary for your effective teaching. I have also signed Executive Order number 64, which provides for an increase in government employee salaries, including that of our teachers, and delivery of medical allowance worth 7,000 pesos. Furthermore, The personal accident insurance policy of the GSIS safeguards your security amidst the day-to-day challenges that you face as our professionals. DepEd Order number 005/2024 was likewise issued. One of its provisions is the fair and equitable distribution of teaching load. Public school teachers will be properly compensated once they exceed the prescribed 6 hours of classroom teaching every day. We are instituting these measures to foster a more balanced and conducive work environment for our public school teachers. Allow me to narrate some stories which attest to the transformation that these efforts brought to our educators. Ma'am Zoraida, a teacher from La Union, shared that the increase in salary and medical allowance has given her peace of mind. She and her fellow teachers can now focus on teaching, knowing that the government has recognized their value and their hard work. Teacher Joanna from Negros Occidental shared that our assurance that no teacher will retire as Teacher 1 has boosted her morale in the profession and give her hope for advancement. It is not just a recognition of our teachers' dedication, but also a testament to our shared commitment to empowering our educators. Finally, a teacher from Abra, working in one of our last-mile schools, Ma'am Narian, mentioned that through the school building program, now she has a safe, comfortable space where her students can learn without distractions. So as we lay down the groundwork for a more resilient sector, I enjoined DepEd Secretary Sani Angara, along with our government agencies, to continue improving the quality of education, uphold the rights of our teachers, and adapt to the ever-evolving needs of our economic landscape. To our teachers, keep shaping our students who will not only face the uncertainties of today, but will also embrace the opportunities of tomorrow. Our future rests in your hands. This administration trusts that you will help us build the bagong Pilipinas that we all aspire to achieve. Once again, Happy Teachers Day. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay kayong lahat ng mga guro, mga ma'am, mga sir. Happy Teachers Day.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is scheduled to hold a bilateral meeting with South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol at Malacañang Palace in Manila on October 7th. Malacañang announced Thursday that Yoon will embark on a state visit to the Philippines from the 6th to the 7th of October upon the President's invitation. In a statement, the palace said, the two leaders will hold a bilateral meeting to discuss areas of mutual interest such as cooperation in the political, security and defense, maritime, economic and development fields, people-to-people ties, as well as labor and consular matters. Malacañang said the Philippine and South Korean presidents are also expected to exchange views on regional and international issues. During the bilateral meeting, the two leaders will also reaffirm the vibrant and dynamic relations between the Philippines and South Korea. Yoon's forthcoming visit will be the first standalone bilateral visit of a South Korean president to the Philippines since 2011. President Marcos and First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos will hold a welcome ceremony for Yoon and South Korean First Lady Kim Kyon-hee at Malacañang Palace on October 7th. Yoon's visit coincides with the 75th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the two countries. Formal diplomatic relations between the Philippines and South Korea were established on May 3, 1949, when the country became the fifth country to recognize the Republic of Korea. South Korea is among the largest development partners of the Philippines with a contribution of 2.1 billion US dollars as of 2020.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Friday personally went to the province of Batanes to oversee the distribution of assistance to residents affected by Super Typhoon Julian at the Oval Plaza in the municipality of Basco. Batanes is among the provinces battered by the super typhoon, leaving 7,088 families or 21,348 individuals affected in its wake. The provincial government declared Batanes under a state of calamity due to the extent of destruction caused by the disaster. During the program, key government agencies led the distribution of various assistance, with the Department of National Defense or DND Office of Civil Defense or OCD giving 10 kilograms of rice to each of the 4,000 beneficiaries. The Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD providing 3,000 pesos each to 200 recipients of its Ayuda para sa Kapos ang Kita program or AKAP. And the Provincial Local Government Unit or PLGU of Batanes handing over 800 pieces of galvanized iron sheets and 800 pieces of lumber. Let us listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during the event.
Ngayon maganda na. Nung nakaraang 2 araw hindi maganda. Pero ngayon at last kaya kami nandito para matignan kung ano ba talaga yung inyong mga pangangailangan. At mabuti na lang at bago dumating yung bagyo ay nakapagdala na kami ng libo-libo na food pack. Kaya nung pagdaan ng bagyo nakapag-distribute kaagad. Ngayon ang susunod second round na.
Yes, sir.
Second round na ng food pack. Tapos ngayon ginagawa na natin yung mga intake na yung para yung mga nangangailangan ng AKAP, ng tulong kung ano man ang tulong na kasi pagkatapos ng food pack, yung iba-ibang pangangailangan ng mga ibang pamilya, bawat bahay, kaya kailangan magbigay na kami ng cash. So magre-release na tayo ng tigte 10,000. Tigte 10,000 bawat household. Dinagdagan ng Speaker of the House ng 15 million ang release para sa tulong. Ang Office of the President naman magre-release kami ng 25 million para sa inyo. Ang susunod na kailangan namin gawin ay yung pagkatapos nito yung sa pag-rebuilding. Dahil nakita ko yung nasira, yung mga ibang bahay talaga, lalo na yung mga kahoy, yung mga talaga natangay lahat. So yun ang susunod namin gawin. Nasimula na ng province na magbigay ng yero at saka kahoy at saka ito mga 2x2 para at least meron na tayo magawa. Pero hanggat may kailangan, sabihan nyo lang kami. At nandito na si Governor, nagre-report sa akin, pinapadalang kami ng video. Nakita namin kung gaano kalakas. Hindi nga makalabas ng bahay ang Governor ninyo. Sabi niya, hindi pa, inaantay namin na wala. Pero masyado kayong nagustuhan ng hulyan, ayaw kayong iwanan. Isang araw, tapos bumalik pa. Talagang siguro maganda rito masyado sa Batanes, kaya ayaw umalis yung bagyo. Pero hindi bale. Meron din kaming dala para sa tubig. Yung nakikita po ninyo na mga balde-balde yan, may filter po yan. Kaya't yung balde, lalagyan natin ng kahit na anong tubig. Huwag lang maalat. Basta't yung tubig, kahit na hindi malinis, paglabas po niyan sa filter, pwede nang inumin. Kaya sa isang balde na ganyan, kayang magpainom ng tubig ng mga 100 tao sa isang araw. Kaya marami kami ipamimigay na ganyan para meron naman kayong water supply. Ito yung meron dito, meron kinakabit dito. Dito may filter na kinakabit dito. Tuturuan kayo ng mga DSW. Ito yung buo. Ito, yan. Paglabas ng tubig dito, malinis na. Pwede nang inumin. Para makasiguro kayo, pwede nyo rin pakuluan pa muna. Para siguradong sigurado. Pero iniinom namin yung lumalabas dito, hindi buhay pa kami. Kaya okay lang. O sige, good luck sa inyo. Kung anong kagaya ng akin nasabi, kung ano pa yung pangangailangan ninyo, patuloy naman ang aming pagdala. Magdadala pa kami ng food pack ulit. 14,000. Yung unang naipadala ay 14,000. Na-release mga 7,000 na food pack. Magra-round 2, ubusin na namin yung unang 14,000, may parating na 14,000 pa. Tapos susunod na doon, ang susunod na ron ay yun na nga, yung cash assistance na. Para meron kayong pambili, yung mga gamot, yung mga para sa mga bata, yung pagkain, yung kung may sanggol, kung meron kayong mga baby powder para powdered milk para sa mga bata, yun lahat yan. So para nasa sa inyo na, may hawak na kayong cash. Okay, good luck sa inyo lahat. At kagaya. Okay, sige. Mabuhay kayo. Maraming salamat.
You just heard Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, Radyo Pilipinas World Service of the Presidential Broadcast Service is heard over the following shortwave frequencies: 15.640 MHz, 17.820 MHz, and 12.010 MHz. You can also visit our Facebook page and YouTube channel at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang in Review. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.